So my wife complained that the brakes that I had just installed a couple months ago were already making noises, and we test drove it, and there was a clunking noise every time she hit the brakes. And what it is, as you can see, the engine is rocking back and forth, so it's got bad motor mounts. So that's what we're going to be working on. So the symptom, as you can see, my son's in here putting it in drive and hitting on the brake, and it's not even, the wheels aren't even on it, so you can see how much movement that engine has just from that. So you can look at that engine mount there, you can tell it's completely gone, and as will be the other ones. Alright, so I'm going to start with the easiest one. I believe it's the easiest one. This guy here, this engine mount here. So first thing you have to do is take the beauty cover off the top of the engine for 10mm bolts there. This has to come out. Looks like two 10mm bolts there, and there may be some more underneath, but I think those two, yeah, it looks like those two are going to get it. Other than that, then I think it can come off. I've got the jack under the engine already, and have a slight pressure on it. The only place I can really put it, looks like, is on the oil pan. I don't like that, but that's, I guess, all I have. Might be able to do it on the transmission side, but that would be on the opposite end of what's, where it's being held up. Let me try the oil pan and see how that goes first. So after removing the oil coolant, or not the oil, the engine coolant reservoir, that was just the two bolts, that's all it was. I've got the clearance I need. I'm going to get my electric impact wrench out and zip these off. So I think I'll start with that one and see how far the engine, well, actually, I don't know. The engine's going to want to drop if I don't have it secured very well, so I need to think about which one of these I want to remove first. I can do that one first and the engine won't drop. So let me do that first. Let me zip that one first. And yeah, that's the plan. Looks like it looks like all of these are 17mm, so at least that's convenient. So I didn't like the idea of putting too much weight on that oil pan. Pretty sure it would crush it. So I decided to go in between the engine and the transmission. Well, on the transmission closest to the engine. And I jacked it up there pretty good. I'm going to try that. Let's see how that works out. So I've got the engine jacked up where I showed you in the previous segment, and you can see the engine's moving pretty easily, so that will work. You just have to really jack up on it. I've got the bolts out of this thing, and it's loose, and I had the idea that I could maybe get that out without having to remove this bracket, but man, if it's possible, you'd really have to jack the engine up high. So it looks like these bolts and this nut have to come off, and so that's what's kind of happened next. I'll take this whole bracket off of here, put the new piece in, and there's the new piece there, and bolt it down. Don't forget to use anti-seize compound on everything. And I can see the engine's already moved on me. See, the holes aren't lining up, so that's going to be fun to deal with. But these are going to be torqued to 50 foot-pounds. That's I looked it up in the manual, and I believe it was like 50 was the low end, and I'll go the low end on that because I don't want to strip these. Got everything removed, the two nuts and 5 bolts that hold this in. This being the bracket and the mount. So this should just come right off now, straight up. And it would be better with 2 hands. Anyway, so you get the idea. I'll remove that off camera. Wanted to comment, you're going to need some extensions. These are 1/2 inch for my 1/2 inch impact wrench, and I used 2 small ones and a medium one to get in there. It was just the right size for that. All right, the first one's in. Not too many problems. What can I say? The new mount is designed differently than the old mount. This part of the mount is smaller, but then they extend it. As you can see, there's a gap here. The other one didn't have the gap. So, fits in though. I haven't lowered the engine, but everything's been torqued to 50, so we're good to move on to the next one. Alright, so after removing this one and examining it, it didn't feel that bad. I mean, I'm able to move it with my hand. The new one I'm not able to, so it's worn possibly, but I don't know. I don't think technically this one was bad. It looked bad, but I guess it was just a tremendous amount of force on it. At any rate, the next one that we're going to try to replace is the front one. Looks like this. Examining the bottom, two bolts from the top and then one from the bottom. That one is located on the driver's side of the engine. Oh, there it is right there. So it's next to the transmission. It's not technically considered the transmission mount. That will be the next one I try to replace. That one's going to be a little bit more fun. I'm going to leave the engine jacked up at the same level that I did for the first one to see how that goes. But yeah, this one's going to be a little bit more challenging, I think. All right, so this is the view of that mount from underneath. You can see the one bolt protruding underneath there. Looks like I'm going to have to replace or remove the splash guard that's going across all the way across here. It's held in by 10 millimeter bolts, and if I can get in here because I'm in close quarters. Where is it? Well, anyway, it's got 10 millimeter bolts and these types of clippy things where you got to unscrew the center. Can you see that? I can't see it. So it's got a screw type thing in the center, and you got to loosen that. Let's see if I can get a better picture. Well, can't focus on anything under here. Oh, there's one. All right, so you can see it's got like a Phillips head thing in the center. You got to screw that out, and then that clippy thing pulls out. And it looks like, maybe half a dozen to 10 of those I got to remove, and at least 3 10 millimeter bolts. All right, so had a little trouble because I didn't have the right parts or the right tools. So I ran to Harbor Freight and got what I needed, and what I was missing was a U-joint for my 1/2 inch impact drivers. So I got that, and using that I was able to get to these two pretty easy. They zipped right out. Bottom one I zipped out because I didn't need anything but straight shot there. So now I got this out. You have to take the bolt and nut that go across there out before you can do this. So there's the old one. Let's take a look at her. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It does not look bad. Shit. Well, it's old. Replacing it anyway. I don't know why we were getting so much motion on the engine then. If the first two weren't bad, the third one must be gone then. But I'm doing the easy ones first because it's just easier. I'm continuing now. Okay, I got the new one in. Everything was torqued to 50, including the nut and bolt that go through the center. So I'm ready to put everything back together, and then that will leave me with the last one in the back for the engine. I'm not replacing the transmission one at this time. I didn't think it was bad. Now maybe I'm thinking it's bad since the first two didn't look bad. All right, we're continuing. So everything is back together. The second, so you can see it right there. The second mount is right there. It's installed, nice and shiny. There's the first one, nice and shiny. The last one to do is in the very back. Let me crawl under there so we can take a look at it. Oh, getting too old for this, guys. All right, so there's the last one right there. Looks like there's 2 bolts underneath and a bolt that goes, well, can you see from that angle? There's a bolt. Yep, there it is. So there's a bolt that goes through the center and 2 bolts there. This one's gonna be fun. I wish I had a car lift instead of using the jack stands. All right, let's see what I can figure out. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to do this one. So here's the new rear mount. Let me get on the bottom here. All right, so here's the new mount. It's got 4 bolts underneath. Okay, we saw the 2 front ones, but the frame was blocking the view of the back 2. So it's going to be no problem zipping those 4 bolts out. The main problem is going to be getting there's a bolt and a nut, right? A bolt goes through this and is secured with a nut that goes through this. That's what's going to be the challenge on this particular piece. May not be too bad. I don't have much room in there though, and it's probably going to be tight as heck. So the first thing to do is remove that nut and bolt. If you can do that, then the rest should be easy. So let's try to do it. Let's see if the engine motion is fixed. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it's any better. Huh? Brake lights going on? Oh, release emergency brake.
Oh,
It's right there. See that handle? Pull.
no, I don't. Where? Oh.
All right. Huh. Well, I don't think it improved it much. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, keep going. I can't tell if it's any better. We still got the transmission mount that could be replaced. I don't know. All right, go ahead and put it, put it in park. This is the rear transmission mount that I just replaced, and it was shot. Okay, definitely bad, but not really addressing the problem that we have. So maybe the transmission mount needs to be replaced as well. I did not order that one yet because I thought it was okay. But so this story may have a continuance.